It's the JPU Records Podcast with kick-ass music from Japan.
Hello, welcome back to the JPU Records Podcast. Thank you for listening. Now, let me tell you, this hasn't gone according to plan. We were expecting to play the brand new track from Scandal, which you can kind of hear a little bit in the background. The original video we uploaded got cut straight away because of copyright from Victor. Even though we licensed the track for our territory, it's still completely gone. So you can only hear this little bit before, well, it's going to go. So enjoy it, check it out. It's going to be out at midnight in your country. It's available on iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play, Deezer, Spotify, whatever. Check it out anyway. So we'll just pretend you went and listened to it, and we'll meet you back here in about 2 seconds.
This is Ladybeard, and you're listening to JPU Records Podcast.
You sure are. Thank you, Ladybeard. That was the brand new track from Scandal. The title of that track is Saishuheiki Kimi. It translates as, in English, kind of like You, the Ultimate Weapon. And that's why the cover art is a gun with roses and butterflies and stuff on it, I suppose. But I've got to say, since Scandal left Sony Music and formed their own label known as Her, their output seems much more stylized. Especially this one. It reminds me of like the 90s era Britpop that I grew up on and loved. I mean, even the new Scandal logo on the top right, it looks like the old Ash logo. And man, if you know me, I was mega into Ash and Feeder and all them bands when I was growing up. I love the artwork, the colors of it. Yeah, it's so 90s. Anyway. And then there was their last single, Fuzzy. The music video was great. It was proper 90s again. Even down to the fuzzy video transitions and stuff that were going on. It just brought back them feelings of nostalgia when I was first discovering music, and I hope it did the same for you. Anyway, that new Scandal track, Saishuheiki Kimi, is available for midnight from your local digital stores. It's handled digitally by us in Europe and North America, so any problems, just let us know and we will get that online ASAP. It should already be there by midnight, as I said. That was written lyrically by Rena, and the music was written by Mami. Now I'm waiting for some of them Wallies to make some comments about the vocals. You know, the electronic auto-tune stuff they go on about. I know it's not for everyone, but the way people go on about it online is like they're not using auto-tune to correct vocals where they're wrong. They're doing it on purpose. It's a creative choice. If they were using auto-tune to fix up vocals where they were a bit ropey, you wouldn't even notice that it's being used. And if you did, they're doing a pretty poor job. Anyway, hopefully there should be a new album from Scandal coming soon. Nothing has dropped yet since they formed Her. And I think it's about time we play another Scandal song. So if you're not into Scandal, sorry about that. You're probably listening to the wrong podcast. Coming up next is my personal favourite track from the last few years, Take Me Out.
だけ
let you in on a little secret about that single, Take Me Out. If you stream your music, that track or that single is only 3 tracks long. But if you get your music from Amazon Music or from the iTunes Store and not from Apple Music, actually got 5 tracks. This was one of the first singles that Sony let me work on with Scandal. Usually when we license music, it's just albums, and trying to get singles out of them is such an effort. And when it happens, they don't give us streaming rights generally. And usually it's just like the main track and then the instrumental version. If you're lucky, there'll be a B-side. So there is on Take Me Out, on the streaming version of it, there's Take Me Out, I Want You, and the Take Me Out instrumental version. But if you download and you pay for the download, it has 2 extra songs from a subunit of Scandal. It's not really a subunit. It's Tomomi and Mami rap project called Don Bondo Bondo. It is crazy. It doesn't sound like regular Scandal, but it does sound kind of cute and fun. And yeah, they're kind of crazy. So have a little listen. On iTunes, it's only £2.49 for 5 tracks from Scandal. That is a bargain anyway, so go check it out. If you're a fan of Scandal, check out this next band. This is one of the new bands from JPU Records called El Fridaire. They've only got 1 album out so far, and I love it. They've only played a few shows in Japan, a few headline shows that is. They managed to get their latest single, the music video, up on the TV screens all around Shibuya, thanks to a crowdfunding project that they achieved really quick before they got signed to a major label. They're signed to King Records in Japan, JP Records for overseas. Anyway, I love them and I think you will like them too. This is Vibration.
思想が理解できない心情がタイムアップしたい遅れてシャットダウン大外れなジェントルメン Take a stand 息を潜め忍び寄るマッションレイディスターバックスインスタ映えてシャレをずっとセルフィックさ入れて Just tell me where you gonna love it 愛じゃ執着依存症世界が歪んでも傷は拭えない No, I know I never ever give it up So 愛嬌がないわけじゃない I know, I know I never ever give it up So Just tell me where you gonna love it 愛情友情と出て予想しない日常でねSo what if you leave it now I stay with my love forever 私なんていない方がマシな生きのないセリフ並べうまく悲劇のヒロインさよならバイバイバイブレーション
think of that? Pretty good, right? That was Elfriede with Vibration. Those of you who follow what our bands are up to might have noticed Elfriede's bass player, Rina, often appearing with Miyako from LOVEBITES. They do a lot of the guitar conventions together, Rina on bass and Miyako on guitar, showing off what they can do. What a team. Speaking of LOVEBITES, they are on tour of the UK right now with the mighty DragonForce. We saw them at the opening day on Saturday at the Edinburgh Liquid Rooms, and it was amazing! This podcast is going out on Tuesday, the 5th of November. If you're listening right now, there is still time for you to go and get tickets for the Manchester Academy 2 show with them happening tonight. On the 6th of November, they're playing the O2 Institute in Birmingham. On the 8th, they are coming to London for the O2 Forum Kentish Town show. Then on the 9th, they're at the Waterfront in Norwich. 11th of November, they're at the Engine Rooms in Southampton. And on the 12th of November, they're at Tramshed in Cardiff. Then they're coming back to England on the 13th of November for Roadmender in Northampton. And on the 14th, they conclude it all at Northumbria Institute in Newcastle. It will be a party and a half. Man, actually, I'm thinking I might go to the Newcastle show as well. We'll be at the London one, so we'll see you at the London one. And hopefully you might have seen us outside flyering at the Liquid Rooms in Edinburgh. If you did, I hope you said hello. And if you spot us flyering at the other shows, come and say hello too. LOVEBITES have announced a brand new album called Electric Pentagram. They've announced the track list, they've shown off the cover art and their new artist photo, which they look amazing in. I was hoping to have some new music to show off on the podcast, but we're not allowed to show it just yet. Instead, we were going to play MDO, but that also got a copyright strike, so we'll play Rising instead and keep our fingers crossed. They've just announced they will be touring in Japan with Howlstorm, and they're on tour right now with DragonForce. What a team! And don't forget, new album Electric Pentagram is on the way. Next up is the latest song from BAND-MAID, Endless Story. New album Conqueror is on the way, getting an international release on January on CD from yours truly, JPU Records.
JPU Records Podcast with music from Japan.
That was 25 minutes of girl bands from Japan. You will be surprised how many people talk to me about how many girl bands there are on the JPU Records record label. JPU Records record label. That sounds ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people seem to want to comment that there's so many girl bands. Where are the boys? Well, I also wonder, where are the boys? We started off the label with mostly just guy bands, if there is such a thing as a guy band. It was the Gazette, Poly 6, they got a girl. Okay, doesn't count. Boom Satellites, 2 blokes. Who was after that? Spy Air, load of blokes. Who was after that? Do we get Scandal then? That might have been the starting point. That might have been the tipping point. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. At the moment, there's loads of great girl bands or bands who happen to have women in, who are just making really great music right now, and we're supporting that. I'm not much of a fan of the whole label, girl band, but then in Japan, these bands are marketing and call themselves girl bands. I mean, you check out the hashtags that LOVEBITES are using, And even Audios sometimes is female musician, this or that. So they're calling themselves that. That's what they want to be called. I will go along with that. Anyway, for the rest of the show, well, maybe not the rest, let's see how we go. We're going to be talking to, well, we're not talking right now, it's already happened, it's pre-recorded, them bits. We're talking to people or customers who stopped by and bought some stuff and a little natter at MCM Comic Con in London. We had a bunch of people come over, we had a massive stall, the biggest one at MCM London Comic Con for music, the only place to come to really, to be honest. And we thought, while we're there, why don't we just have a chat to see what people are buying, what they're listening to, and what got them into Japanese music. It just so happened that the first customer is one of my favourites. Whenever I see him, he's a bundle of energy. He always comes over, massive smile, gives me a high five, talks about the albums he bought at the last Comic-Con, and he wants to know what's new and what's coming up, so he buys them too. So far, I think he's bought pretty much every JPU release because we recommend them. Well, actually, there was one he didn't like, Ringtoshe Sugure. They're not for everyone, and they definitely weren't for him. And he always reminds me of that every single time he comes over. He's like, remember that band I didn't like? Yep, I hated them. Okay, good for you. But yeah, he's lovely. And I've just noticed that the recording was completely messed up. He was the first one of the day, and he's the first interview I've done with this new little contraption thing where I can take my my trusty podcast Mikey thing and plug it into my phone. But the adapter has to be held in, otherwise it falls out, or it's just slightly out and it records it all crackly and sounds like distortion. It just sounds distorted. And unfortunately for him, it's all distorted, and I'm really gutted because he was really excited to be on the podcast too. He's like, I'm going to be famous. He's lovely. Sorry, Rob. He told us he went to Japan and was looking to see some bands. He really wanted to go and see Scandal, and he just missed them. And he went to Kyoto and just missed another band. And anyway, Rob, I hope you enjoyed the CDs you bought on this trip, and I hope you get to Japan soon and see the bands. If not, I'm sure they'll be playing in London or the surrounding area sometime soon. Sorry, Rob. So instead, we're going to move on to next favourite customer. There is not a ranking of favourite customers, they're just favourite customers. This is Jim from Cambridge. If you are a regular in the Comic-Con, I think there's different kinds of scenes for fans. There's a Hyper Japan crew who are regulars who always come and buy stuff. There's the MCM Comic Con crew who are again different than the Hyper Japan lot who buy stuff. Jim kind of mixes from both of these pools, so maybe you met him before. He is a lovely guy, so passionate. He always gives me a whole bunch of bands to check out. I remember just seeing him at a gig once and he wrote down like 10 different bands on a piece of this sellotape, I think it was, because we couldn't find anything else to write on. And another time he wrote down a bunch of bands for me to check out on something else. And he was recommending Mutant Monster way before Mutant Monster came to London for the first time. He is a big fan of Japanese music. And when he comes, I'm always happy because I know he's going to buy a bunch of stuff, which gives me a big grin. And I know he's going to be happy with it too. I've never seen him complain about anyone or any music yet. So this is Jim talking about music. It's a little bit noisy, so maybe adjust the volume a little bit. I'm completely new to this editing software, so I've tried to edit the noise out as much as I can. It's made it a little bit weird sounding, but it's 100% better than what it was.
Man, I've got to let you know because I need physical CDs of this, right? And there's so much over the years you've brought through, and I'm so happy. And I've even discovered a bunch of stuff as well. It's super nice, yeah.
Oh, yes, you're all about physical?
Yeah, I love physical. It's got to be physical. I like.
So, do you use Spotify, Apple Music?
I use Apple Music, but I mainly use that for like singles and stuff. So when bands are at when bands release stuff as like a single before they release like physical records, it's usually a lot cheaper to just stream it on there than to pick up a physical CD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Singles so expensive.
They are, especially because I'm really upset because like the Japanese are starting to move away from the singles we used to have, where you'd have like the main song and then you have a couple of B-sides. I miss B-sides so much. I love B-sides.
Same.
Bring back the B-side. Hashtag bring back the B-side.
Hashtag bring back the B-side. I was the same, man. I used to love Feeder. They're one of my favourite bands.
Yeah.
Some of their B-sides are better than the albums.
I know, right? I tell you what, like There's an old Japanese punk band called Ella Garden.
Yes.
Yeah. And some of their best songs are all B-sides.
Always the way.
Yeah, like Mr. Feather was a B-side, wasn't it? And then that's become like one of their most popular songs.
So, what's one of your favourite singles from Japan?
One of my favourite singles. Don't feel that. I think it's got to be. It was probably let's say Database by Man with a Mission. Because I remember my flatmate one day while I was at uni said, "Oh, you got to check this band out," and it was Distance, I think, and I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty good. I wasn't entirely sold on it for some reason, but then I sat down because there was the new anime was airing, and I started watching Log Horizon, and as soon as Database kicked in, I was like, whoosh, I need this. Where do I get it?
Yeah.
And so I went online and I started like rabidly looking for where I could get CDs, and that was when that's when the price really started hitting me.
Yep.
And I was sitting there. There's got to be a cheaper way. There's got to be somebody bringing like music over.
Doing this.
So there's got to be someone. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere out there, and they're going to be bringing music over.
Yeah.
So I ordered the physical CD, and it has a really nice cover of I can't remember the band. It's a really old 80s band.
Yeah.
They did a cover of Green Tinted 60s Mind. I can't remember who that is, but that was like the first time I was like, Japanese B-sides are the best.
On that note, I think it's time to play that track. This is Man with a Mission's cover of Mr. Big's Green Tinted 60s Mind.
Good in those 60s movies. Sure, we know you're a little legend, baby. Could've made a girl if it tried. No need to force it, easy as a horse to ride. Where's the dream hanging out with Janice? Recall the scenes of moving to Atlantis. Tell a breath to die, try your best to hide with the green tinted 60s mind. She just woke up, but she is still tired. The phone rings, but seems like she's wide. Same old curves can't hold back the light. Reaching into a dream she had to fight. Could've made it Letty if it tried enough. You know, little legend, baby, you'll never be able to let it go. You can't hide, girl, here we go again. Down, down, down in the heart, just tear it apart. Yeah, tell the press to die, try your best to hide with the green tinted 60s mind. You've been looking through me, in a 60s movie. Maybe time to pass you by. Little legend, baby, try your very best to hide. Green tinted 60s mind. Keep some memories locked in a way, but each day that pass, it always escapes. Try not remember, try some neglect. You know it won't work, it'll never make them fade away. Could've made it Letty if you tried enough. You know, little legend, baby, you'll never be able to let it go. You can't hide, let it, here we go again. Down, down, down in the heart, it tears it apart. Clear the fog inside, all you seem to find. That's the green tinted 60s mind. Gotta face the day that is no other way to hide the fog inside your mind. Freely up with dream of all that you can seem to find. Green tinted 60s mind. Hanging out with childish, moving to Atlantis. Cover my head if you die. What's the point of forces? Easy as a horse to ride. Green tinted 60s, moving looking through me. In a 60s movie, maybe time to pass you die. Little legend, baby, try your very best to hide. Green tinted 60s mind.
Do you remember the first Japanese CD or Japanese song you ever heard?
I think it was when I first started watching anime. The first CD I ever bought, I actually bought off eBay.
Yeah.
And it was the Foolie Cooley soundtrack. So I started with the Pillows. And I still adore the Pillows now.
Yeah,
I'm like, as soon as the Pillows release anything, I'm sitting there like, I need it. I need it.
In the last episode, we played Ride on Shooting Star.
Yeah.
That's when I went to school. That was like one of the songs I used to play all the time.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's I started learning guitar in secondary school.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got uni and I heard that song, I immediately started like thrashing it out. I needed that song.
You know, Anime Limited's got the Foolie Cooley vinyl coming out.
I know, yeah, I bought it yesterday.
You got it?
I already have the entire Soundtrack CD, but I needed it again.
Of course.
Because now I can have it on vinyl as well. It's
looks
mad.
very nice too, right?
Yeah, it's so nice. It's such a, because it's got like a blown up version of the artwork from like the second CD.
Yep.
And I love it. That's like my favourite piece of artwork from all of them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's super good.
So what are you listening to at the moment?
Right now, I'm listening to the new Man with a Mission stuff.
Yep.
Because they're releasing a new single. They've got singles like they've got Dark Crow for Vinland Saga. I've been listening to, you know what? I've been listening to a lot of Passcode recently again.
Good man.
Yeah, they keep coming up. It's like every time I'm like, yeah, I'm going on something else, and then there's just creeps back in again. And I'm going in between Man with a Mission and Passcode, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, that's
really
understandable.
Yeah, it's really big. But I'm getting myself re-hyped again because, of course, BAND-MAID's like announcing their upcoming album.
New album, Conqueror,
and their singles are really good. So
that's good, man.
Yeah, I like they're kind of straying a little bit back to their older stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of changed a bit.
Not completely, but like they're not afraid to go back because after like the hit with like Thrill and that, I feel like they started going heavier because they felt that was the way they had to go.
Right.
But now I feel like now they've got like loads of success and people are like, play Matador again. They're like, no, maybe we should like mix it up a bit again because their old stuff's really good.
Yeah.
I really like some of the lighter stuff. I don't always want like the heavier stuff from them.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I quite like that they've done that. It's like when Start Over was released, I thought, whoa, they've really shifted gears back again.
And the name as well kind of suggests that perhaps Starting Over.
I was wondering if like the entire thing was going to be like completely different, and then you listen to the B side on that one, and then you're like, whoa, they're not giving up the hard style. They're still at it.
Oh, nice. Oh, well, thanks very much, Jim. It's been good to see you again.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, mate.
Thanks,
always
man. Actually, what CDs did you pick up this time? Do you remember? Yesterday,
I picked up the recent Mary's Blood album.
Good man.
And I picked up another copy of the Kimuri album.
Another copy?
Another copy.
Oh, yeah, we had the t-shirt deal, didn't we?
Yeah, the t-shirt deal. So I needed the t-shirt.
Yeah.
And plus, I will get my friend to take that CD.
Good man.
She doesn't know it yet, but she will take it by the time she goes home.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she will.
Well, we're running out of t-shirts, so she better come soon.
Yeah, she better come back. I'm going to make sure she's going to come back and get another t-shirt.
The band there at the end he was mentioning was Kimuri. We had a deal on at Comic Con where you could get a t-shirt and a Kimuri CD for £10. Bargain. Kimuri were the first band I went on tour with. We toured the UK with Less Than Jake a few years ago, and it was an amazing experience. I'm so happy they brought me out, and it was so much fun. So much fun. It was sponsored by Fireball as well. So much Fireball whiskey going around. Every time I smell it now, I just think of that tour. Anyway, this is Positive Mental Attitude, PMA by Kimuri. It is a tune, so blast it loud.
Everything seems so far away. Everything's going wrong, you know.
of them, Kumuri, PMA, Positive Mental Attitude. Such a happy band. Jim from earlier just comes back to our booth every day. He was at Comic Con all 3 days. He visited us all 3 days. He came back to try his luck at our mystery CD box. This is a box we have only at Comic Con. We did it online for a bit, but there was too many orders. And it sounds kind of bad, but I've got other things to do. And I just can't get the orders out in time. Busy boy. So we have it at Comic Con only now and other events. It's £5. What is inside is a total mystery. There's some of our CDs in there, but not really. Mostly it's stuff I pick up when I'm in Japan and I bring back, and I haven't got space for my own collection, so I just whack it in a bag. It's £5. It could be an album, it could be a single, it could be a single with a DVD and an album with a DVD, and it might just be a sampler. Who knows? It's a mystery. So Jim came back and he got 5 mystery CDs. So let's see what he got. We recorded it live as he opens the bags.
Good luck, Jim.
Thank you very much. Well, let's crack the first one.
Here we go.
What's going to happen?
First one is opening up right now. What is this?
Oh, it's Audios.
Oh, Audios!
Yeah.
Whoa! Is that a DVD edition too? Or
Yeah, it is. It's DVD edition.
lucky boy!
Yeah.
On to a winner right there.
Winner.
So which one is that? Is it a single or
Yeah.
Audios?
It's
Is it We Are?
Warrior.
Oh yeah, Female Warrior.
Yeah, it's Female Warrior.
Lucky man.
Nice.
Let's see what is mystery number 2.
Mystery number 2. Let's crack it.
Do 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 do. Amatsuki!
Oh, nice.
This is his dive single.
Yeah. Actually, I haven't listened to him yet.
Did you?
That's pretty exciting.
You didn't see him when he came to Comic Con like years ago?
I didn't.
Him and BAND-MAID came together.
You see, that year I couldn't find the stage, so I didn't see them then. It was a disaster.
Oh no, they're right outside.
Yeah, I didn't realise. I think that was like my first time as well. My first one was second time, and I didn't realise all the stuff that was happening outside.
Newbie.
I know, I was a noob back then.
And now, like, pro MCMer.
Pro MCMer. I'm taking new people around myself this time.
There you go.
There we go.
Right, number 3, mystery CD. Here we go. No God V.
Oh, nice.
This is you know No God, Visual Caveman.
Yeah.
The clown guy.
Yeah, I've been super interested in getting into this stuff.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm really happy.
You've got a really good haul so far.
See, you can't dig from the bottom as well.
There you go.
Dig from the bottom or you won't get these.
You've got to mix it up.
You have got to mix it up.
So this is the 4th one. This was the thinnest one.
This was one of the thickest.
Oh, was it? Oh, the thickest. Let's see what's inside this one.
I don't know. No, maybe it's just the bubble wrap. Who knows?
Just air.
It's just a packet of air.
Number 4 is... What is this?
This is...
It's like Denpagumi?
It doesn't
It's Denpagumi!
It's Denpagumi.
But they're all like anime character, cosplay
they're all
style.
cosplay. Oh, that's wicked.
I can't read what there you go. CD and DVD.
It's from Fujin Gumi Games.
Whoa, lucky boy, man.
That's it. I'm gonna stick that on my thing. And that's got a DVD as well. Boom! Double DVD.
Boom! Love Jim. Next is a lady who came and visited us on the first day. She bought a CD, and I was trying interviewing her then, and this is when Rob's one didn't really work. This is when I realised it didn't work, because when you record, you can see the noise sort of whatever it's called, the lines that make up vocal patterns or whatever. I don't know, I'm not technical. That liney thing was just, it was taking up pretty much the whole screen, so I knew something wasn't right. So I said, can we do this interview later? You around maybe tomorrow? And she was like, well, actually, I'm one of the artists in the Comic Village. MCM Comic Con supports a lot of local artists and manga writers, comic writers, illustrators. Got their own section. It is amazing. Really good stuff there. So I went over to her section at the end of the day on Sunday to have a little chat and to see how Japan and music from Japan has influenced her work. And I didn't realise she'd actually won competitions too. There's one the Embassy in London does, Embassy of Japan in London. And she was the winner of it last year, which is pretty amazing. Anyway, here we go. This is with Liz from Kent.
Okay, Okay, I am at MCM Comic Con on the last day, right at the very end, with Liz. And Liz came to the booth yesterday and bought a Gazette CD. It was Dim, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And you're familiar with Gazette, I'm guessing then?
Yeah, my sister's like way big into metal, and she got me into J-rock, so I bought that for her.
Oh, it was a present. It wasn't for you.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit less hardcore, and I have all of your Scandal albums, so.
They're a bit different, yeah, but that's cool. So, what got you into Japanese music at first?
Anime.
So, do you remember the first Japanese song you ever heard, or the first anime that you liked the music of?
The first song that I really loved was Ready, Steady, Go from DragonForce, which I think is a gateway drug for lots of people.
I think that's still my favourite Luck and Shell song too. That was great. So do you still listen to much music from Japan now, or do you just wait for the animes?
Oh yeah, now it's not just anime music, it's like branched out and found new songs, like weird obscure songs like Rekishi at the moment I'm really big into. But then like Pokemon, Okazaki Taiku has done lots of his music for that show, so that's been really good to get into him, so it's a bit of both now.
I'm not familiar with him, so he is an artist by himself, or does he just do like soundtrack stuff? Or
he's kind of a comedy artist, but he also does serious stuff. And yeah, he's done a bunch of themes for Pokemon. He's done a collab with Monkey Magic.
Oh yeah, cool.
They're marvelous people. And yeah, I also love like Rekishi.
Do you have a particular song from any of the artists you want to recommend that we could play?
Rekishi, definitely listen to Murasaki Shikibu or Goemon.
Okay, and I didn't know yesterday, but you're at the Comic Village as well. You're a creator.
Yeah.
So I saw you on your flyers, and you won the. There's a manga contest that the embassy does, the Japanese embassy in London. I can't remember what it's called. Is it the Jingman?
Manga Jiman. They run it every year.
And you won it this year.
Yeah, I won it 2018, so they're just about to have the deadline for next year's contest.
Do you think you'll enter again for next year?
I wasn't allowed to enter this year, so I might enter next year.
And what was the creation? What did you make? Was it a manga? Was it like a? I'm not really sure what the terms are for the competition.
Yeah, I had to make an 8-page black and white manga on the theme of home, and I chose to do environmental theme instead of a house theme. So I think that stood out. But yeah, like it's just a nice thing to have every year to make a different comic and like have a prompt and have a goal.
Yeah.
So it's been really nice.
Has Japan influenced your comics?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I love anime and manga, so lately I've been getting more into like American cartoons too.
I noticed your style reminded me a little bit of like Steve Universe kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I love Steven Universe. Love it so much.
And from Japan, what kind of like mangas and things have inspired you?
Lately I've been massively into JoJo and the Pokemon anime. Yeah, I'm wearing JoJo hat. Full Metal Alchemist, I think I said already. That's like majorly big.
Oh, cool. And you said you when you won the Manga G-Man competition, you went to Japan with that too.
Yeah, the grand prize is 2 tickets to Japan with ANA. So that was really lucky because my sister lives in Japan at the moment, so I got to go visit her.
Oh, that's really cool. This is the sister that got you into, or you bought the Gazette CD for, right?
Yeah, we're twin sisters and we're both Japan nerds.
It's kind of funny for me that she lives in Japan, but you got her Gazette CD from London to bring back to Japan.
Yeah, CDs are a lot cheaper over here.
Yes, so much cheaper. That's one reason why I started the company. When I went over to Japan the first time, or before I went to Japan, getting CDs here, crazy, like £30 plus for an album, so expensive.
I remember you guys used to have like a big box of like random imports, and now it's like, no, we released our own music.
We've moved on since then, yeah, that's a long time ago.
Crazy.
That's like 10 years ago at Comic Con. We were saying about it earlier, it used to be like a cardboard box just full of whatever CDs we got, and just sort of just trying to introduce it to people, easy way for them to get music. But yeah, things have grown a lot since then. Well, thanks for being a customer since then and recognising us.
And now it's all over, I've realised I forgot to talk to her about the bloody comic she's writing. Never mind. Anyway, she is on Tumblr, YouTube, Instagram under the same username. Her name is Liz Garwood, and her pen name is Arizabeth, which is spelled Ariezabeth. Check her out. As she mentioned when I asked her off microphone, like a Wally, to describe her artwork, she said it's mostly rainbows and unicorns, all that kind of stuff. It's very cute, very fun kind of style that mixes what's kind of trendy at the moment with the American comics and cartoons with a little bit of a Japanese influence. Anyway, it's really cool that she ended up winning that competition and that she's into Japanese music and her sister lives in Japan. We were going to play the track she recommended next, Goemon by Rikishi, but it also got blocked by Victor, so we will play nothing and there will be silence for the next 3 minutes. Just joking. We'll just move straight on like nothing even happened. There you go, that was something a bit different. That was Goemon by Rikishi, as recommended by Liz from Kent. Thank you, Liz, and thanks for being a long-time customer. Way back in the days when JPU Records was not JPU Records, it was Japan Underground, and we operated from a cardboard box rammed full of CDs. Those were the days. It's about 10 years ago. Man, things change. But customers don't. They're still there. That's great. Anyway, Liz, all the best with your manga, comic, and illustrations. They look great. Now, normally we'd have to be wrapping up the episode around now because originally this was meant to be a radio show, but the producer who got in contact with me about doing it just vanished. So, no more radio, just straight out onto the YouTube. So, there's no more time constraints. We can go on as long as we want. So, because of that, there's time to squeeze in some more customer stories. This is Chris from Chesington. I love his accent.
It's Saturday of MCM Comic Con, and I'm joined by
Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you, Chris. I recognise you got a, is it Miku Hatsune t-shirt, or is it not?
Genki Gear.
A Genki Gear? Is it a band, or?
No, it's somebody who supplies t-shirts and stuff like that.
Oh, Genki Gear, yeah. Oh yeah, they're always at Comic Con doing all the t-shirts and stuff. It looks like Miku Hatsune a little bit with the whole green.
I think that's probably what they'll go for with it.
Yeah, it kind of looks similar. So we were chatting about, before we started this recording, we were chatting about the bands you're into. So I remember repeating the kind of stuff you listen to from Japan?
Yeah, Swanky Dank, Rotten Grafty, I can't think of the name of them. Mutant Monster.
Yeah. So all the kind of punky stuff you've been listening to?
Yeah, a bit of metal as well, like BAND-MAID, and do like the Wagaki band as well.
Wagaki band's very cool. So how did you find out about these kind of bands?
Through sort of being into anime and stuff like that, and going on YouTube. It's just how you sort of move on and find them.
Yeah, so what was the first Japanese band you ever heard?
I'm trying to think now. Probably Spy Air.
Oh yeah, from anime, I'm guessing, or
no, from actually buying the CD.
Oh, you bought the CD? Yeah. you found it here, or
yeah.
Oh, what made you pick up that CD of all CDs?
It was one of those. I kind of sort of heard them sort of in the grapevine, and I thought, yeah, they actually sound pretty good, and I wanted to listen a bit more.
Oh, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of funny. I wasn't expecting that to be your answer. Usually everyone's like, oh, I heard anime, and I found the CD here, but you were like the other way around. You saw the CD here first, and so what bands what you listen to at the moment? Like, what's your favourite thing right now?
I'm sort of going through the old Britpop phase, so
Oasis and Blur.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But I do like Asian Kung Fu Generation. I can't think of the name of them now. Oral
Cigarettes.
Yeah,
they're really cool.
Yeah.
Actually, Asian Kung Fu Generation are back in London soon. They're playing Camden next month.
All right.
If you're around, please come along.
Yeah, I'll try to.
When do you come to Comic Con for? Do you come every year, or
twice a year?
Twice a year. And this time, what are you here for in particular?
I just come just to see sort of people dressed up and just to see what's about and what's going on, really.
Oh, nice. Oh well, thank you very much. It's been very nice to see you.
No worries, thank you.
I'll see you next time.
To be honest, I feel kind of bad. I didn't recognise Chris. He must come to the JPU booth quite a bit. I mean, we get a lot of customers. But he found out Spy Air just from the booth. I guess we must have been playing it and he liked it, which made me feel really happy that what we're doing out there, trying to introduce people to new music, does work. And Chris loved it. Anyway, I think now would be a good time to actually play some Spy Air. This is the first track from Spy Air I ever heard. And because of this track, I made a long time ago a cover band of Japanese songs with a Japanese guy. And we covered this song. This is Liar. It's a great song. we started this episode with Scandal, brand new track, really good song by the way, and I think it's only fitting we end with some Scandal. But first, we're going to speak to Josh from Kent, who is a big Scandal fan and came to visit us at MCM Comic Con. Let's have a little chat. Okay, it's day 2 of MCM Comic Con, and I'm here with Josh. How you doing, Josh?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
And I just noticed he's got a Scandal, wristband? So you saw Scandal recently in London, or?
So I saw them when they came here last time. I think it was about 2 years ago on the Yellow Tour. And I saw them in Japan last year for the Honey Tour. Yeah. And it was just, spectacular.
So you go to Japan especially just to see them, or?
I was going anyway, but I made sure I got tickets because otherwise it wouldn't be no point.
And how was the show in Japan?
Yeah, it was really good. I had really back seats because it's really hard to buy tickets in Japan, but it was still worth it.
And how did it compare to the London one, the Yellow Tour?
It's different. I think the crowds are very different because everyone has the towels and they're all swinging about, and there's just so much energy. But because everyone's still sitting down, it's a kind of weird mix. It
is weird, isn't it? When I saw Gazette for the first time in Japan, I was shocked at how it's a metal show, but everyone had allocated seating. It just seems so strange. But
yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's a bit unusual. No moshing, right?
No, it's odd.
So how did you discover Scandal? What was your first entry point for them?
It would have been the Full Metal Alchemist. It was either the ending or the opening, and that song just got me from there really, and I bought every single album ever since.
So do you have a favourite Scandal song?
Favourite Scandal song? There's just so many good ones. I really like, is it Platform?
Yes.
From the new one, and I think that's...
Platform Syndrome?
Yes. And I think that's, at the moment, that's my favourite at the moment, but it does change quite often because...
that's quite cool, because a lot of people I speak to who are into Scandal and some of the other older bands who've been around for a while always choose the old songs as their favourite ones and not the newer ones. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I get that, but I think with the new music and their style has kind of changed.
Yeah.
I think the newer stuff I prefer compared to the older stuff. I still listen to it, but the new style is definitely, for me.
Yeah, as I said before we started recording this, for me, Take Me Out is one of my favourite J-pop rock songs in a year or so. It's amazing, that one.
No, it is. Yeah, it's superb.
So you bought today some mystery CDs, and we actually haven't had a look at what's inside yet. So shall we take a little delve in? So this is the first one. If anyone doesn't know, we do mystery CDs at Hyper Japan and MCM. It's £5. It could be a Japanese single, it could be an album. You have got AKB48. I don't know which one though. It's all in Japanese. That's an album. It's not a bad bought for £5. There you go. And mystery number 2 is Angry Frog Rebirth. They're a metalcore band from Shibuya. Okay. So complete opposite to AKB. But actually, on the podcast earlier, we had Ladybeard. He was talking about his favourite metalcore bands from Japan. Angry Frog Rebirth was one of the bands that he really loved when he first moved to Japan. So hopefully you find some stuff you like on it.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Yeah, something different. So which bands are you listening to at the moment?
Passcode mainly, but the new Anamanaguchi album came out yesterday, and that is also, I know it's not Japanese, but...
After that, it's only fitting we play Platform Syndrome from Scandal on the latest album, Honey. that is it. Another episode done. Don't forget, you can catch up. We've got 3 episodes already out. First one is kind of just a general episode. Second one features Lady Beard. Third one features the organisers of Metal Matsuri. And then you've got this one featuring the brand new track from Scandal, which was amazing. Add it to your playlist, please. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. See you next episode. Don't forget to drop us some comments, like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. You can also buy some merch. We've got some wicked merch designed by Isana Kagami, same designer from Baby Metal and BAND-MAID. Check them out. They're limited edition. The Witch one has pretty much sold out. We only have 1 XL left, maybe 1 medium. I think that's it. So better snap it up before it is gone. Thank you guys. See you next time.
It's a JPU Records Podcast with Kick-Ass.